Welcome to New Filmmakers Los Angeles in partnership with Movie Maker magazine. I'm Carolyn McDonald and I'm here with Anna Julia Travia to talk about her film Love Letters. Let's take a look at a clip.
Querida Suécia, estava lendo o querido Cruz de Souza e me inspirei para escrever algumas linhas. Espero que goste. E quem é que saberia tirar a morte para dançar em vida? No imaginário, uma dama vestida de preto, incapaz de ser colorida. Eu afirmo mentira. Morrer é o florescer do que não se conhece. É a possibilidade de ser infinitude. É o reencontro com o ontem que não mais retorna. Vagar sem preocupação no agora, sabendo que no amanhã ainda estará posto. A morte é a certeza mais escurecida que temos. O esticar das pernas, o erguer da alma, o desempate, que nunca foi possível em matéria. De seu sempre admirador, Miguel.
Anna, how are you? Welcome.
Thank you, I'm fine, and you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for being here with us. So tell us, what was the inspiration for your film Love Letters?
Yes, actually I have a lot of, I get a lot of pieces of inspiration in different places, but I think the most important one was when I was at a geography class.
Geography.
And my teacher was talking about how in São Paulo cemeteries are very important to know the social and political economic cycles of the city. And he was visiting the cemetery at a very dangerous neighborhood, and he started to walking and looking at the tombstones, realizing that he was in a place that the tombstones were all of very young age people that died.
Wow.
And he started thinking, oh, they are so organized because they organized by age here. And then he realized actually that this was the neighborhood statistics. So a lot of young people are dying.
Wow.
And when we're talking about Brazil, like we have these horrible numbers about the black youth. Like in 23 minutes, one black young person died.
Wow, every 23 minutes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, these numbers I think it's from 2020, more or less, before the pandemics. And this was a number that was stuck in my mind, and I think all the black movement is worried about this in Brazil. And I started thinking how I can tell a story about this, but not being violent and not put violence on screen. I think this is my major research and as a filmmaker, how tell black stories with a lovely approach,
Right.
or be more, how can I say, artistic even.
Yeah, very, very creative way, because it's not really about the death, it's about a life in death, if you can talk about without giving away too much.
Yeah.
How you sort of pull together love and death here in this story in a way.
Yeah, and I think this was the thing. How can we talk about life and black lives after struggling, after going through a very violent thing, that losing a family member by the state violence, for instance. And I started to think about all my relationships with black women and how we have this nourishing space for ourselves, especially because The first time that I was in a set with the other black woman was something that was organized by a black filmmaker that I admire. Her name is Renata Martins, and she started doing these interviews with another black woman in Brazil, and I started to see all these my black connections expanding in my hometown, especially because I was born and raised in a very white neighborhood, and even a military neighborhood at the north of São Paulo. So this happened actually when we were also fighting for the affirmative policies to be adopted at my college, because I studied at USP, and only 7% of the students were black, and this is the biggest university of Brazil, the most important one.
Wow.
And we were fighting for this, and then I met Renata because of this, and then we start talking about films, talking about art, not just about fighting for our surviving, but also trying to take ways of living, really living and expressing ourselves.
Yeah, and the way you tell this story is, like you said, about life, but to talk about how the, first of all, I want to ask a question first about applying the dynamics of, like you said, women in the, the mother in the film is a very, very strong character, and then the daughter, the way she expresses herself. Did you intend that to be as a reflection of the things you had learned and to have that nurturing effect in the film?
Yes, it was on purpose that the men aren't on screen, but the women are there, and making the connections and supporting in the ways they think that it's the right thing to do, because sometimes I think all around the world, when you're talking about movement and fighting for something, inside the community we have our struggles, and it's not all the time that we agree at the same things and how things should be done, but it's very important to be there.
Right.
With those people talking about our needs.
Yes.
And what we need to do.
Right. And playing a role in protecting. I mean, that's the theme of the film. This, protecting, the daughter, and the use and empowerment. So, the mother's goal was to protect, her prayers, her, wanting to oversee and guide her daughter. So, tell us about how you wove in the poetry of this story and using that. Can you talk about that?
Sure. Actually, I have a lot of friends that are involved with the Islam movement, the poetry Islam movement. I don't know if you have here in the US, but it's a huge thing that people get together in squares, and they start, make these battles using poetry.
Yes, I see, yes.
And we call it there in Brazil Islam. And I have met Lucy Ribeiro, who is a very great poet, and she was really generous with me, because she is also an actress. She does the aunt.
Okay.
And I was talking with her because I really like poetry, and I write some just for me. And I wasn't sure if I could at the time write the poems for the film. And for me, it was very important to have this, especially because we have a lot of historical black figures in Brazilian. I also want to invite someone that was working with poems at the time, and Luz was doing that. And it was a crazy thing because when she sent me those poems, it looks like that the characters have made them. She understands completely about the scenes and the things they should say to each other, and I was a little bit scared of her because it was the first attempt. I was very pleased with those poems, and she was like, for me, I was being an actress and a poet at the same time doing this. So it was very magical to see this process with her. And she was very pleased with the invitation too.
Right. At what stage did you send her your script? How much of your script did you send her? Had you completed the whole script when you?
Yes, the script was completed, and we were in pre-production. Yes. I was doing casting for Swelling, the protagonist, and also her romantic pair.
Yeah, it's really well cast. Talk about the role of the young man in the story and what he was representative of in relation to the girl and the poetry she was writing. Talk about that symbolism and dynamic there.
Okay. So when I was thinking about this character, I wanted to be something a little bit phantasmagoric and how can I say, and also very attractive, because something it needs to be something that you are attracted to know what is happening.
Sure.
And Mauricio, the actor, he was very, at the first time I saw him, I was like, probably it's going to be him, but I need to see the boys.
Right.
Especially because for me it was very important them to look very young on screen.
Right.
To have this, sometimes I feel that we lack of this in the Brazilian films, that this black, juvenile, fragility, you know what I mean?
I do.
Because sometimes we have a lot of strong black women, strong black men, but you don't see them fragile. And that was very important for me. So the big eyes of the young people are very important.
Right, yeah. And very sensual and sensitive as well to hear her, do you know, to talk about her, how he heard her voice and what she said about her poetry, you know, to her mother towards the end.
Yes. The voice is very important in all of my films. Is a resource that I really like to explore, especially for me because sound is very much about cinema, and this experimental way that I really like to do this, experimenting voices and images, but also telling a narrative story. That was the challenge.
Yes.
Like, how could I be very experimental, but also have this story about this girl and her mother in grief, and she fell in love about this secret admirer. All of these were this my challenge.
Yeah, and I think it's a beautiful job you did incorporating all those things, you know, to you know, like you said, the young male deaths and the poetry, the power of that, and the movement of, you know, women protecting each other. I think you did a really nice job of bringing all those together in the one theme.
Thank you.
You know, the empowerment, you know, and the protecting, you know, and the empowerment of her through her words.
Thank you. Yeah, I think that's the good thing of short films. I think we need to have this. I know that here in the States, people see short films as a way to show the abilities they can do with cameras and directing actors. But for me, it's also about expressing and experimenting. The way you can tell a story. Sometimes I feel a lack of this kind of thing, but I'm very happy with the film. I'm very proud of it.
Oh, you should be. Well, you should be. And I agree with you. Here in America, I'd say all the time that short films should be, like in Europe or Brazil or anywhere but America, just as valued. You know, you're right. We kind of look at shorts as the beginning to something larger. I mean, not to say, you know, there's some amazing short films and they should be recognized as films, not just short films, you know, because you can tell an amazing story in 10 minutes, you know, and then sometimes they try and expand it to 90 minutes and it flops, but that 10 minutes you have made the impact, the emotional impact in those 10 minutes. So yeah, I totally agree with you. So tell us about where can we follow you, your journey as a filmmaker, you know, see more, you know, of your films, and tell us how we can follow you.
Okay, so I have my social media, right, like Instagram.
Okay.
Mine is Ana Julia _do_cell.
Okay.
But also I think I will put my previous short films at this streaming that is independent, just for Black filmmakers in Brazil.
Oh, really?
Called Ubu Play.
ubuplay.com. Ubuplay.
Yeah, they have also a profile on Instagram.
Okay, great, thank you.
So it's not just my work there, but a lot of my colleagues have their work there too.
Okay, great. Well, fantastic. Thank you so much for being here with us today. I really enjoyed your film, and I'm sure others will as well.
Thank you, Caroline.